Jay Williams and I conducted, I would say, a pretty incredible call today with our Salon Cadence members. And we worked on a few things, that were very important for anybody who wants to grow their company and get to that type 5% most profitable salon, spa, or any kind of a small business. We talked about, well, what do you need in order to scale? And we all agree, Jay, that we need a mini us. We need a mini us in our company. So one of the things that I want to go over is, like, what are the typical mistakes that any business owners do when they're thinking about it's time to scale, it's time to grow. And we went over it with our members today. So I thought it was pretty incredible, Jay. What do you think were the hard lessons today?
I think the first thing is to identify what's important to you and how you define your culture, because inevitably you're looking for people who want to be part of something and want to take you to a different place. And then as a leader, you're not responsible. Simon Sinek says it really best and very clear. He said, you're not responsible for results, but you are responsible for the people. And I think, one of your people commented on the call is that people are our most important asset.
Yeah.
So I think the takeaway today is that we have to have clarity and we have to have agreements, not expectations in place. We need to be very clear on what we want from them. And so the call really started off with, I think, identifying what our needs are, what our wants are, and also what part we can teach and what part they have to bring to the table. And so part of the process is understanding maybe what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. So as an example, if you're not a good teacher, then you're going to need people that come to the table with the given skill set. We talked about differentiating between leadership and management, and your group articulated it so well, is that management is about process and procedure. Leadership is about people.
Absolutely. So if we can combine today, you can actually look to recruit somebody that has both skills and that you can develop more. So somebody who is a leader to some point, we none of us are born as leaders, but we learn how to become better each year. So if we can recruit somebody that has a really good operational experience, technical experience in the system that we need them to operate, but also have leadership qualities, where we can develop them even more. I think that one of the things that were really clear today is that we need to think differently. We need to really think differently. Perhaps in the past, when we run a salon or a spa, any service-based business, perhaps the most important thing is to start thinking within what kind of a culture, or even if we can take the world culture and park it a little bit in the parking lot, Jay, and talk about what do you want in terms of your business to do for you? What kind of a lifestyle do you want to have? What kind of a goals that you have? And right now, Facebook user, if you can just put your name in there, that would be great. Hire humans with values that align. So true, because what are your values? What are your actually personal goals? And I want to dig into this a little bit, Jay, because that's something that I think one of our tips that we want to give today is that we want you to think differently. We want you to think about, if you wanted to hire a general manager or a leader, whatever the title of that would be, in order for you to help you recruit, to help you become the CEO of your company, so you can build the company even to a greater places, is that you really need to think, well, what kind of a lifestyle do you want for yourself? And once you understand what kind of a lifestyle you want for yourself, then you can align your new recruits that will share the same values that you have in that lifestyle. Do you understand what we were trying to do this in our call today? And I thought that meant a lot to people.
I want to shift people's thinking. You said you wanted to give new and different thinking. Is that it's a common belief that we have to hire people that have the same values we have. And I just want to share with you that there's over 4,400 values. You could coincidentally hire someone with the same values. What's most important is that you find someone that not necessarily has your values, but will support them. And as human beings, we can do that. We may not share all the same values, but we can support them. So if somebody has value of organization and order and structure, but I love chaos, that doesn't mean they necessarily shouldn't work for them. What's important is to identify is if you work better in chaos and I work better in order and organization and structure, how well would you work in that environment? And if the person says, hey, when push comes to shove, the most important thing to me is that I'm appreciated. Now you can see how somebody could coexist in your environment. But if you have a value of honesty and integrity and trust, and those people won't support that, or maybe you have a value of respect and part of your definition is showing up on time and they won't do that, that's not a good match. Again, you don't have to have it, you just have to support it. And I've had people, as far as punctuality, say, Jay, I'll be on time for you, but in the rest of my life, I'm not, because I have a value of flexibility. So as people look today,
that's really good. Yeah, that's really good, Jay, because if your value is to have flexibility, then it's important that you will have people that respect that and understand that. Most likely, though, if they don't are looking for flexibility in their life, then it won't really fit very well with you. One of the things that we brought to today's call that we did with our members is that, for example, if you're going to be driving in an Uber ride and get stuck for 2 hours with your manager, you want to be able to have a great conversation in those 2 hours in traffic. If you're not going to have a good conversation, then that's just not the right match for you. You really have to come down to having a really thinking and create a really great description for the position that you need in your company, whatever the position is. So if you're looking to grow your company, if you're looking to hire a really great leader that can help you with the operational of the company, leading your team, think about it as if you're in a small company, you need a general manager. If you were in a bigger company, you might have 3 positions to fulfill that. So what you need is someone that that will complete you, that will create your voids, that understand exactly who you are, and that reflects to your values. And we talked about respect, Jay, and we said, well, respect to you, Jay, might mean completely different what it means to me. So how important it is to be so descriptive in your job description to explain exactly specifically what you're looking for. What will be the success in your company?
You bring up some good points. You talk about completing yourself as an owner. And, there's 2 concepts. You hire a mini-me. I think the mini-me that you hire is the part that replicates your heart and your passion for the business. Now, it seems like a contradiction to say, well, then you hire someone who completes me, because I wouldn't need them, right, if they replicate me. However, great leaders identify what their strengths are. And you identify what you want to do and what you don't want to do. And quite often, what you will find great leaders do is to identify what they don't want to do. Not that they don't do it well, it just requires more energy.
Absolutely.
And then find someone to do that function for them. Ultimately, where you're going is that you create an environment that allows you to step away, yet replicates your thinking and results in the culture, whether you're there or not. And as a barometer, as a leader, it's not what happens when you're there. It's what happens when you're not there that'll be the barometer. Do I have this team? Do I have this leadership group, individual in place?
Yeah, when running my salon, I was listening to a good friend that was actually a neighbor, and he was a VP of a big company. And one time I sat down in his office and he says, Ronit, so how you doing? I said, numbers are looking good. Things are really great. Profits are good. And he says, when profit is good is? And I said, like, no, why? When is profit is good? And he says, when you're not in the company and the company does not rely on your production, does not rely on your being there, that is when the company becomes sound. And it stuck to me for a very long time until one day I decided I'm going to have to test how good my company really is. And at that time, my son was serving in the Israeli army, and I really wanted to go live with him for a few months and be a mother with him because I missed him so much. I had to do it. And I said, I'm going to test how well the company is running right now. And I literally took 3 months out of my company and moved back home for 3 months. And the company was doing great. And that's when, of course, I felt like, oh my God, I am doing something right. However, it took me a while to get there. And what I realized that when you hire the right people to work with you, it's when your company is going to grow tremendously. And if you create a collection of staff that share the same level or very close level of their investment in this company, then your trajectory is only going to go up, and you would feel very accomplished. Meaning that, if your company has a shareholder thinking, as a stockholder thinking in your company, then your company becomes a whole and not just yours.
It's, you hit upon a point in a business, we have people's mental, physical, financial commitment. Somehow you can measure it. They show up to work, they do their job, not good enough to keep, not bad enough to get rid of, some version of that. What we ultimately want and need is their emotional commitment. And that's what you were talking about, Ronit, is this emotional commitment has this discretionary performance. And so, Simon Sinek talks about the why, but what's happening is, as a leader, you have to make sure not only they understand your values, that you understand their values.
Theirs.
And again,
Absolutely.
You don't have to share them. You do have to support them. So one of the most common things I'm hearing today is that people want flexibility. It's the new currency. It's flexibility. Now they're saying, hey, I don't want to work Tuesdays, but I want to make the exact same amount of money. Like if you're an owner, you can relate to this. The question to ask those people, tell them, I want to support your value of flexibility. If you had to give up one of them, meaning the amount of money you make or flexibility, which would you give up in order for us to find a solution for you? So as a leader, it takes a depth skill to realize that I want to talk about their value, and that's what I want to focus on, because if I focus on that, I'll have their emotional commitment, and I'll have the heart of the leader in my people.
Absolutely. And it's exactly what you said, learning about what their lifestyle value is what we want. Hey there, whoever's sitting next to Jay. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
I got my fans right next to me. Jay and I decided to just come up Facebook Live and do a little bit tips about what to hire and how to hire the right person. But going back to Jay, to your point, is it's so true. So what we want to offer to you guys all of there is to start thinking within lifestyle recruiting. Lifestyle recruiting is asking the question: if you could have the perfect, hey Jay, if you could have the perfect week, if you could have the perfect day, what would it look like? What kind of shareholder would you like to be? What kind of a stockholder would you like to be? Would you like to work 5 days and make the same amount of money? There is nothing wrong with that, because we can help you get there. So whatever the values are that you guys share, it has to be collectively matched. I help you, you help me. Together we are one big happy family, and that's what needs to happen. So Jay, 5 tips, because I know you're on your way somewhere and I grabbed you. 5 tips between you and I that we can give them of how to create the perfect job description, or knowing what we're looking for before we start recruiting.
Okay, so start out this way. Start out with a blank piece of paper for those of you who are watching. And list the skills, knowledge, and experience that people need for this role. So again, you have a blank piece of paper. The skills are what they are going to have to be proficient at to perform the task. So if they are handling your operations, they may need to understand numbers. If they're going to be cutting hair, they need to understand that technical skill. If they're at the front desk, they may need non-technical skills. So if you're looking at your skills, I divide between your technical and non-technical. The knowledge is the learning that's required. So if there's education, certification, experiences that would benefit someone in that role. Then the next thing, oh, and you have a picture here. So we talked about skills, knowledge, and then experience. And that would be what they bring to the table. So it could be in the way of volunteer work. And especially if you have a value of altruism within your culture, and quite often in our business, you guys will donate a day's work to a certain charity. So somebody doesn't have to have the value of altruism to work for you, but you do need to have an agreement ahead of time that that is a value, and that they would commit one of their days, either a working day or a non-working day, to support that value.
Absolutely.
So that might be 3 tips for you. Does that serve for 3 of them?
Well, I think it's a great tips. I'm sharing with you guys right here what a job description should be looking like these days. You know, it's almost like what Jay said. You want to take a sheet of paper, maybe 3, and download all the things that you do not want to do as a leader. You do, whether it's technical skills. I'm talking about actually technical skills. What are the things that you know is not your core value, or you don't want to spend your time on because your time is more value somewhere else? So let's look for the technical part. Write down all those things. It's a very easy way to start thinking about that future mini you, or the future somebody that can complete you. Now, when it comes to you know, the values that you guys are sharing, or the attributes that you're sharing, that's something that you really want to identify. Like Jay say, what are the things that is going to work for you? And I'll give you an example. For me, it's very important that if I text Jay, you know, he will reply to my text, right? If I'm looking for somebody, or I'm contacting somebody for email, I'm going to get an email back. I'm going to get a reply back. I'm not saying within an hour or 2 hours, but it's important for me that I'm going to get a response back. If there is somebody that I'm recruiting and they are not into that, and their communication skills are going to be, yeah, I don't have to answer that text until 2 days or 3 days, it's just not going to work for me. Just that communication is not going to work for me. So identify the things that you really important to you: flexibility, you know, communication skills. Do you like texting to each other, or do you like emails more? Those are the things that are really important as far as the identifying attributes and values that are important to you, such as a person that really would like to donate a day out of their work week to work with the team, or to work with as a donation. Charity, same thing like this. So write down everything in a piece of paper, the things that you do not want to do versus the things that you want to hold on to. So that's a great way to start a job description. Specifics matters. So specifics matters. Specific means if you're going to say, my manager is going to update all our financial reports. Great. What financial reports are they going to update? That's awesome. But what financial reports do you want? When do you want them to be updated? I want my salon manager to be able to create shopping list. Great. What shopping list do you want them to create? for which part of your business, for which department of your business. So really be very specific about your job description. What do you want them to actually do, and specifically? Those are the things that I offer as a tip to create a really job description that aligns with the right person that will perform the way that you need them to perform.